got us as a Fulham Monday, ain't they? The reactions were.
Oh dear, it's all gone a bit Pete home.
But don't worry about it.
Good evening, everybody. How are you doing? I'm not sure what's going on here. We seem to have lost ourselves.
So we got some gremlins.
We're back. We're back. We're back again. Good evening, guys and girls. How are you?
Good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah. Sometimes they say you've got to take it how you get it.
Exactly.
And that's certainly what the team done tonight. Liverpool went away to the Molineux and we came out with 3 points on a weekend when points were dropped. You've got to be happy with that. We'll take that. How you doing, Patto? Long time no speak. Are you well?
Missed you, Stitches.
Oh no, life gets in the way sometimes. You know, busy man, busy boy.
Back again.
Back again.
How are you, honey? Are you okay?
I'm very well, thank you. I'm very well. My main man, Stoney, what's going on?
I'm fine, thank you very much, sir.
Yeah,
So,
looking comfy with that scarf around your neck.
I've missed this. I've so missed this feeling.
Absolutely love it. Yeah, so it's been a difficult period for us.
Yeah,
but we're back. Nice to see Jürgen smiling again.
Yeah,
nice
definitely.
To see Jota out there on the pitch doing his thing. Nice to see Phillips and Kabak building a partnership. There's lots of positives to take away from the game tonight, weren't there?
Yeah, definitely. I think I can only mirror what you've just really said. I think it was nice to actually be in a position of actually fielding. I think we fielded a similar team than that we played against RB Leipzig as well. So that's definitely a positive.
Yes.
So the fact that we were able to field the same team, continue to actually establish partnerships with Nat Phillips and Kabak, no injuries. I always say that no injuries is a nice blessed place to be. Clean sheet and 3 points in the bag. So we're in a good place. I know that the league still is indifferent, but look, we just have to take small little steps. These are milestones for us, so it's all a positive coming out from today. So I'm happy with this evening.
Fantastic. And Patto, we've been through it, haven't we? And how nice does it feel to get 3 points again?
It is great for the 3 points, but firstly, I'd just like to hope that Patricio is fine. Yeah. That was really worrying at the end.
Yeah,
he's okay. So I've seen the match with the reports. He's conscious. He remembers everything. He's got no side effects. So he's going to be absolutely fine. So we can be grateful for that. And you know what?
Yeah,
I echo your words there because as this what our club's about. We want to win the right way. We don't want anyone getting injured. And I actually, even though I wasn't with you guys on the show, I watched a show the other day where a fan was coming in and saying they hope we get injuries and stuff. And, we wouldn't wish that on anyone. No. I know banter's banter, but this is people's livelihoods. Do you know what I mean? Wouldn't wish that on anyone. So love that you said that, Patto. But fantastic. Glad to hear Patricio's okay. He was a bit of a...
Yeah, also I felt very sorry for Conor Cody, fellow Scouser, and I really felt it for him. And you could see he was worried about what had gone on. He was worried for his teammates. It was an accident. Do you think it, guys?
And given what's happened, given what had happened with Raul Jimenez in the past.
Exactly. Yeah. He's fractured skull, was it?
Yeah.
It is scary. But we've addressed that, putting that aside. Let's get on to our team.
Let's get onto it.
And I was wanting to, I was really wanting to say that I because of the game last week and because Salah and Mane scored, I did feel that they were getting their little finishing touching a little bit more accurate, and they're getting the mojo back. And I did predict today. I did say 3-1 because I thought on the back of that, I did say Jota was going to score, didn't you?
Yeah,
but I've been saying all day, Jota's going to score, Jota's going to score. But I did think Salah and Mane would score also. Wolves did come attacking. They gave us a good game. They really did give us a good game. And they had some good shots as well. I thought, they were quite unlucky with some of their shots. I thought it was a really good game, a little bit fast tempo, and then it slowed a little. But again, great to have Fabs back in the midfield. That helped a lot. Yeah, Jota was on fire. I thought he was brilliant. Jota, what did you think? And also Nat Phillips in defence.
Yeah, I mean,
really good. He's done some really good defensive interceptions for us. Cleared some really good shots for us. I thought he was on fire tonight, actually.
Yeah, I thought. Look, I absolutely echo everything you've just said. I think looking at it, I think you're right. Given the way we played against Leipzig and the fact that Fabinho is back in his more familiar role in defensive midfield, I felt very confident going into this game. I do always find Wolves are quite a stubborn team to break down. So I didn't think it was going to be very high scoring. Like, I was thinking 2-0 myself. But, we got the result. That's the important thing. And in bits, we played quite well. Didn't like the way we started the game. I thought they were all over us to start with. But we kind of settled in and then started getting hold of it. I like to see Thiago in a more advanced role. And I found he played a bit too defensively today. Maybe out of necessity.
Hence the yellow card.
Yeah, maybe out of necessity. But because Pedro Neto was causing problems down that side of the pitch, and he had to cover Trent quite a lot or be in that position to do so. But yeah, I like it. I thought probably our worst player today was Alisson, because he did look a bit nervous at times.
And he should have caught that ball. He should have caught the ball and not punched it away.
Yeah, he looked.
Mum could have caught that. And she's blind. She's half blind, my mum could have caught. I know, honestly, she couldn't even see it. She didn't even see it.
Do you know, I think that's quite interesting with that, what you've both mentioned about Alisson as well. I know in the past, since he's returned back from the passing of his father, the first 5-10 minutes, his performances have been a little bit indifferent. So, like there was that first early chance. I think it may have been with Semedo.
It was.
And
that could have been a penalty.
And it seemed there as well. And even when that opportunity had, I must admit personally, I gasped because I thought, oh my goodness, what has he done so early in the game? But you're right, even with the other opportunity, maybe he would normally have caught it. But as you said, he punched it. But even when he punched it, it wasn't a full clearance. I mean, it only dropped to the deep.
Yeah.
So anything from that area could have changed what could possibly have happened from there. But look, the main thing is that we got the clean sheet. It may well take a short period of time for him to get his rhythm back. He's still our number one keeper. We still believe in him. And I won't, as an individual, I won't fine toothpick anything that he probably wouldn't have done in previous games. But you're right about those two little earlier incidences in the game as well. He settled himself afterwards, and we got on with making or having a productive game.
Absolutely.
Well, there are things we can work on now. What have we got? 2 weeks rest?
Yes,
almost
that's correct.
3 weeks before our next game.
Yeah, that's 3 weeks because we got Arsenal on Arsenal on I think we're away to Arsenal on the 4th of April. So we got a little time now.
Yeah, we've got a little time to, adjust to these things and work on little things. But as you said, totally agree, regarding with his dad. But as Stitcher said, we kept a clean sheet.
Yeah, exactly.
The second game in a row.
Hey, thank you.
With the same centre-back partnership. So and that brings us nicely. So look, let me take a minute to welcome our viewers. You are the heartbeat of the show. Thank you everybody for tuning in again. We appreciate you. And without further ado, we want to get into some of the questions that you're asking. So this brings us nicely onto it, actually. Great win, guys, from Zacchaeus Forbes. Thank you, Zacchaeus. Are you happy with the centre-back pairing? Let me take this first. I'm not unhappy with it because I have a lot of faith in Kabak, and I think that Phillips has earned the right to play, given his performances over the last few games. I feel like there's still some concerns, but they're both very young centre-backs and they're learning the game, and I think they've done admirably. And I think having Fabinho in front of them offers that screening and that protection as well. I think you'd be hard-pressed to find anyone to beat Phillips in the air, because he seems very, very strong in that part of his game, and he's reading, and his strength seems quite good as well. I think he's going to be a good Premier League centre back. I think given time. And Kabak, I think he's just gone from strength to strength, considering the start that he had, and how much criticism he was getting for the mistakes. Rightly so, I think, for some of the mistakes he was making, but he's learned quickly. And he's really leveled up, and you could see from the hug that Klopp gave him at the end of the game that he was really pleased. So to answer that question, they're not our first choice centre backs, but you know what? We get right behind them, and they're putting in performances. 2 clean sheets in Champions League, which is a top competition, against Leipzig, who are second in the Bundesliga.
That's correct, yeah.
And then another clean sheet tonight against a Wolves team, which they don't score that many goals, but when you've got Traore with his oiled up skin running at you, that's worries in the dance. Do you know what I mean? So I'll take it. I mean, Patto, what are your thoughts on the centre back pairings?
I thought that they were really good. Actually, I thought the link up was great, and they were getting balls into the midfield. And I also thought Nat Phillips, he, as you said regarding, he's the tallest at the minute, isn't he? We've got at the back, and he's getting up there, and he cleared it with his head, didn't he? He done a really good clearance with his head. So now I was actually, what you said earlier on, I was really pleased with him. Really pleased. I thought he had a really good game. I thought he had a blinding of a game, actually.
Good. What about yourself, Stoney?
I think similarly to you, I'd just like to extend on something that you obviously said as well, Stitch, also Patto as well. I think they're almost doing their YTS, aren't they, at the moment? Their apprenticeship, if anybody can remember that. Look, they've been brought into the club, and I think that we've got
£28 now.
They've been brought into the club. That means we trust our owners, we trust our scouting staff, we trust our coaches, and we trust our manager as well. So we're there. Whether they are our first team centre back pairings, that's by the by, they're there, they're functioning, and they're getting game time, and they're getting experience as well. So I think it was a positive experience from both centre backs. The fact that we obviously kept another clean sheet as well will do good for themselves. As you said, it's good to obviously have Fabinho in front of them as well. But yeah, that partnership will develop. I think the main thing is that we're able to feel the same team. And yeah, there's just a lot of positives. We're not. I'm not going to be naive to say that they both had a 10 out of 10, but I'm also not going to be on here to belittle them either or give them low markings. They got through the games, they got game time, and they're gaining experience. So for me, that's a plus point.
Yeah, they did what they had to do. So we got Zico Forbes now. Good win for Liverpool after a burnt-out season. Do you think you have to win the Champions League to be in it next season? I think it's probably our best chance of being in it next season. I'm not writing us off in the league yet. I think there's 10 games left to play.
Yeah.
And as you said, we're going to have 3 weeks almost of recuperating. And not only that, because I think some of these internationals are going to be interrupted because people are not going to fly out to go and train. So what that means is Klopp will have a squad to work with, almost like have a little 1 week mini pre-season get his tactics into them, more settling time for Kabak, more settling time for our other centre back Davis, who we haven't seen yet. I've seen him in training, and watching it in training, I can see why he's not starting just yet. Like, he's fitting in, but he's not on the pace just yet. That's my thoughts, personal observations. But I can see why we're not, do you know what I mean? We're not starting him. And I think that time is going to be really valuable. And I think we're going to make a right run for it for the last 10 games, like, to really go for it. And I think anything's possible, because I still think the guys ahead of us are going to drop points. Yeah, I think they're going to drop points. Yeah, Leicester City won 5-0 the other day, but I still think they're not going to be in the top 4 come end of the season. That's my prediction. I think that they're going to go on a little slide. Do you know what I mean?
I agree. They're all still in the FA Cup. They're all playing next week, aren't they?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
West Ham, Everton, City, Tottenham, Leicester.
Yeah, they've all got to play each other as well at some point.
Yeah,
People are going to take points off each other.
Out of them, who's in Champions League as well?
Yeah,
true.
Or Europa.
That's so true.
Yeah, or Europa. Yeah.
Let them carry on.
Yeah.
And let them carry on, because it is. I totally agree. Stitch is all going to fit in. I think we will be in the top 4 because they're all going to be too busy playing those other games. And we're, this next 2 weeks, if we can get the rest, and as you say, they don't go to the Euros. Yeah. I think. The thing, who's going? No, it was announced who was going. Jones.
Not sure. I didn't.
In the England.
Oh, Jones.
Jones in the under-23s, was it?
Yeah, but that's only because the game's going to be played in England. So they don't have to fly anywhere.
So that's probably maybe one of the worst worries, if that. But yeah, I think it's all going to come back and sting them all in the tail. And as I said, I don't wish injuries on anybody. But here's where it gets tough. These last 10 games, 9 games for some, this is where it gets tough. These are the tough games now, where your endurance has to kick in, and your
mentality has to be right.
Have you got the stability to continue? Is where the cramps of the old legs kick in? Are you fit enough? Here's the test of time, these last games. So let's see. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be good. But
I think it was a famous red-nosed guy that just down the M56 that used to say "squeaky bum time," didn't he?
Yeah,
squeaky bum time. So I'm going to coin that phrase.
Yeah, and it's interesting as well, just to extend on the comment that Zico Forbes mentioned as well, about the indifference that we've had. Bearing in mind when we won the Champions League in 2005, if I recall, we probably weren't the best team at the latter stages of the Champions League. But he said it's a cup competition and anything can happen. So I think his question was, do you think you have to win the Champions League to be in it for next season? Look, we're in the last 8, and I think it's evident out there the mixed season that we've actually had. But the fact that we're still in there, we have to congratulate. We have to feel blessed, and we're there. And he said anything can happen. I know in the previous show we had myself and Patto were speaking. I think one of the comments were, is there anybody who would not like to actually meet in the last 8? I mean, we're there. There's probably teams out there probably praying that they don't actually get us,
I was going to say that.
Yeah, we're there. We have to embrace it. And whoever we do actually get in the draw, I'm confident that we'll be successful, get the results we need and progressing. So, either way, we're there and we're in a good position.
Absolutely.
Because look, we've got 2 crucial players that have come back in. We've got Fabinho back into the midfield. Look at the difference that made, and then bringing Jota in and putting him in the middle between Salah and Mane. Look at the difference that it's made in them 2 games.
Absolutely.
Who else come back in the next 8 games, 10 games we have? Who else is coming back in? I do feel we are going to finish in the top 4 because of that. That's how many points to be had, and I think we will get it. I think as each game goes on, we will get stronger. definitely stronger. So
as the players return,
all our eggs in that basket. We're in with a chance for top 4, no problem.
Exactly.
Absolutely right. Like, we live in the Champions League. Nobody wants to come test my team in Europe. Are you mad? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, you don't want it. You don't want it. Like, we're about that Champions League life. Everyone knows this, you know. So I don't fear anyone. Like, people might say, "Oh, PSG are looking good," or Bayern are looking good. I don't care. Bring them, come. That's what I say. Bring them. It's all good. You know, that's what we live for. Like, there's no shame in where we are in the Champions League. We are a problem. We are hashtag problem. So yeah, it's all good. It's all good. Big shout out to Mr. B. Good win. About time.
That's fair enough.
Man United fans. These Man United fans.
That's fair enough.
Yeah. About time. Do you know what's mad about this situation, right? We're currently 6th in the league and in the latter stages of the Champions League in the worst possible season. If you had to write down the worst possible season for LFC, you couldn't have written it as bad as the season has been. And look where we still are. And I think that's why, as much as people want to give it, right, you have to, at some point, you've got to just take your hat off. Take your hat off to us, right? Because what we're doing is mad. It's mad to even think we're where we are.
Well, this is what people don't understand, and we're not even at our best, and we're not even at the most.
Far from it.
You know?
Far from it.
Yeah. So, as you say, take our hats off to our boys.
Definitely, 100%. I can't wait to get back up to Anfield and sing my heart out and cheer those boys on because they deserve it, man. Not for everything they gave us for the last 3 years and what they've given this season as well and what they've been through. Just to be able to be back at the heartland, at the homeland of Anfield and give them that support, I can't wait, mate. I fully expect to come out the stadium without a voice. You know what I mean? That's what I fully expect. Anyway, Zacchaeus Forbes, good to see Jota back and scoring. He's a better player than Werner. Interesting point he makes. What is your thoughts on this? Because I'm going to come back on this in a minute. But what do you think, Patto? Do you think he has a point there?
That he's better than Timo Werner?
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Easy, definitely. See, the thing is, you know, you could see how he was frustrating.
Yeah.
That, you know, Connor Cody, who else was at the back for them?
Bowley.
Yes, and Bowley, you know, Bowley was, you know, he was embracing it and loving it. That's how I knew he was going to score. And even in training, as you said, sister, you've been watching them train. So surely you've been jostled in training, and he's been firing them in, hasn't he? He's the most energetic out of the whole team at the minute. Yeah,
he looked busy. He's mobile. He's a pest. And then when he gets on the ball, he's got like magic feet. Do you know what I mean? I think I read a stat that says he's got similar stats to Mane at the same age in terms of beating players and dribbles per game. So, you know, that's pretty that's a good standard. Do you know what I mean?
Just kept finding space, didn't he?
He did absolutely.
Space.
Yeah, Stoney, what's your thoughts? Better than Werner?
I think that's a really good question from Zacchaeus Forbes. We appreciate that as well, Armando. I think I'm not going to say I'm going to sit on the fence on this, all right? But I'm going to give my honest opinion on this, all right? Okay, so we've clearly got two extremely talented players here, okay? We've got a player in Jota that's already had experience playing in a Premier League. So we already know what it's about. We know what's in the tin. He's made a transition from to Wolves to Liverpool, and it's been seamless, all right? A breath of fresh air. Maybe the target prior to that was Werner, and for whatever reason, that deal didn't go through. But that also shows the strength in our owners, the strength in our scouting team as well, that we were able to then purchase Jota, and we've been able to benefit from that. Werner probably hasn't lit up Chelsea for whatever reason. I think we'll see how he performs next season, because what he was doing in the Bundesliga was clear that he's a very talented player. So yeah, look, you know, it didn't work out with us, Werner. We've got Jota. I'm very happy. I don't actually support Chelsea, so you know, haven't really got much concerns with Werner now. He's not with us. If he was at Liverpool, it would be a different thing. But at the moment, if you're asking me between the two, Jota's clearly showing that he's had more of an impact in the Premier League than than Werner. So I'm happy that he's doing that at Liverpool.
Look,
that's where I'm
Wolves
at.
missed Jota tonight, didn't he?
Pardon me?
Wolves missed Jota tonight.
Yeah,
They did.
Yeah, and you showed us you showed as well the absolute class of the player as well, because he's clearly still got a lot of respect for Wolves as well. So he scored and he probably didn't want to celebrate. I understand where he's coming from, which is fine. He scored against his previous team, but he's a professional. He got the job done and he gave us the 3 points. So I'm very happy with that.
Yeah. So look, my view on this, is he a better player than Werner? 100%. I think he's got more to his game than Werner has. Like this is controversial, but when we were being linked to Werner, I didn't want him. I was one of the only people I knew as a Liverpool fan that wasn't interested. I know you say he's a talented striker and he is talented at finishing, but whenever I watch these games, all of his goals are the same.
Okay.
Run onto it, put it away. Run onto a through ball, put it away. I don't see him creating something out of nothing. I see him playing a little 1-2, getting in behind the defense, shooting, bang, goal. So I always felt, as a team that spends a lot of time on the ball with low blocks and deep lane defenses, we're not going to get that space behind in the way that he would thrive on. He would have to play with his back to goal a lot, right? And I just didn't think it was the right fit for our system. So I was exceptionally relieved when we got Jota instead, because I felt he was more the style of striker or forward that we needed. I've been known to have said that Werner is the German Barini. Right. Harsh, I know, but that's how I feel. You know what I mean? So anyway, on that note, another
also
comment.
we if you don't mind me saying as well, Stitches, before we move on to the next point, I'm not going to say that I recall it, okay? Because if I do, I'll absolutely be lying. But I'm sure we probably saved a lot of money as well with actually purchasing Jota over Werner as well. So in that sense, well, that clearly shows how we obviously set the numbers and the figures as well. So that's also a plus point.
Yeah, so we've paid 45 million for for Jota, of which a 12 million pound what's it called, installment is due at the end of the season. Okay. Werner would have cost us 58 to 65 million.
All right, that's a big difference. Yeah,
very big difference.
Big difference.
Plus wages, we're probably not paying Jota as much as we would have had to pay Werner.
Good business then.
Oh, hang on, sorry, my mic went to put my mic on mute quickly. Yeah. So that's definitely a better deal. Big shout out to Charles Williams logging in. Evening, lady and gents. It's not ladies. There's only one. 3 points in a clean sheet. Yes, big up. Zico Forbes. If you're not in the Champions League next season, will you be able to attract the top players to strengthen this tied team? Again, sometimes some people are like a broken record. We appreciate your comments here, but the team, okay, a tired team. Half of them have been injured all season. Who's tired? Who's tired? Like, is it Phillips that's tired, or Kabak that have played like 3 games or 4 games for us? Like, who's actually tired? So I don't know. Well, if they're tired, then they're definitely rested this season. So you need to be worried about what's going to happen next season. That's what I would say. What are your responses to Zico Forbes on this, Patto? What do you think?
We've discussed this before. Again, I still think we're going to finish in the top 4. I don't think I'm not negative like that. Sorry, I don't see that. I feel my team's going to win every game if they don't solve a problem, but I don't think I'm not going to get in anything. We're going to get in the top 4. I hope we're going to win the Champions League this season. So I'm sorry, I don't think I can answer. Can't even answer the question. Sorry, can't.
What about yourself, Stoney?
I think that our club will have their targets anyway. Similarly, at the beginning of the season, they would have had targets, and I I think our club's big enough, we're established enough, and those targets will have been A, B, C, D, E, F, whatever you want to call it, whatever grade you want to do. So whether we qualify for the Champions League or don't qualify for the Champions League, I believe the players that we do bring into the club are going to enhance our squad moving forward. So I've got absolutely no concerns with that one bit at all. So that's my honest response.
Yeah, I think you make a very good point there. I think what people neglect to understand is that we had a very good, strong first team.
Yeah.
And a few fringe players that were decent. But when you're hit by 8 first team players out, you're going right into the reserves of your squad. And our reserves, our whole squad is not as strong as some of the others around us because we don't spend in the same way that they do. We haven't built a squad in the way that they've done. And, maybe over time, things will change. But yeah, anyway. Charles Williams says he doesn't like it when we got too much time because we always play badly in the next game. I don't even want to think about that, Charles. I understand your pain, and I have considered that in the past, but given the season, how much worse can it get than where it's been this season? So it's the only way's up. The only way's up. Didn't see the game. How did Thiago play? Do you keep him for next season with Keita, Ox, etc. to come back into the squad? So that's an interesting question. What do you think, Stoney?
I think the answer to Zacharias Forbes, thank you very much as well for your comment. I believe the answer is yes. I think that today was a game where we weren't actually stretched in terms of playing against today. I know they've actually changed in terms of how they played from last season and the season prior to that, and they're looking to play more of a possession-based style of football. But it wasn't a game we were stretched. I think there's been some games where we have been stretched, and Thiago's probably seemed a little bit off the pace. But today wasn't one of those. I think he played well. I think he complemented how the team played. I understand he got the yellow card. I understand if people look back at the game, I think he probably got substituted around 67 minutes, and he looked as if someone was trying to take his toenail off there, or someone had taken the cars to his Lamborghini. But these things happen, all right? So just to answer your question, do I believe he'll be there next season? I believe the answer is yes. Ox and Keita are still taking their time to get back to match fitness, and hopefully they'll be in a good position to actually be pushing towards starting for next season. But if you're asking me if I'd like Thiago to remain in our squad for next season, the answer is yes.
Fully rounded answer there. What are your thoughts, Patto, on Thiago's performance tonight? And do we keep him given that we've got Keita, Ox, etc. to come back into the squad?
Again, I totally agree with Stoney. I thought I was quite happy with Thiago's performance. A little bit niggly, hence with the, as I said, he got that yellow card, and he was. I think did he also get a little warning because he kept niggling?
Yeah.
But that was him trying. He was really trying, and I like that. He was frustrating himself, wasn't he? That's all he was doing. He was frustrating himself. Here next season, yeah, of course. I put him before Ox any day. Any day. And with Keita, yeah, it's gonna, they're both great players. Keita did come on. Did we see enough? As you said, how many what was it, 60?
Yeah, about 67 minutes, I think.
What did you think of Keita's performance when he came on?
Yeah, so just to answer the Thiago thing,
again, well, as I said, I think keep him. I would like to see him still here next season. Of course, there's still more to come from him. I like him. Yeah.
So in terms of how he played tonight, I think this is probably, for me personally, what the best game I've seen Keita have. Thiago have for us, and I've come to realise that he can play defensive midfield, but it's not his strongest position. And we need to kind of release him a little bit more, let him play a bit closer to the forward guys, where I think he could cause havoc. I saw one through ball tonight to Wijnaldum, and then Wijnaldum slipped in Mane, and Mane could have gone out for a penalty, but didn't. So he picks the clever pass. more times. But today, I think you could accuse him of overplaying. There's a couple of times where you tried to be too clever, and it just didn't come off. And I could hear Klopp going absolutely ballistic on the side, saying, "Thiago, keep the ball, keep the ball." Like, proper getting into him, and I love that. But so yeah, it wasn't his best game, and I think he knew it. When he got subbed off, you could see he looked a bit disappointed. But knowing the type of person he is, given from the interviews and whatnot you've seen of him, I think he was more disappointed at his own performance than the fact that he was subbed off. And as for Naby Keita, silk on legs, right? This guy is going to be a problem. Yeah, when he can, listen, he's going to be dangerous. I can't wait to see him running midfields again. He's looking good, looking a bit more robust, and he's looking comfortable, which is important. Ox actually came on and looked good today as well. But I'm hearing rumours that Ox may be on his way out in terms of transfers. So I don't know if he's going to be there next season, but if he can contribute this season, which he looks like he's going to, I'll take that. Definitely. What about yourself, Stoney?
I was really happy when we actually purchased Ox. I'm not here to question how he was actually played or managed at Arsenal, but I was really happy when we actually purchased him. Unfortunately, he's had a lot of injuries since he's actually been at our club, but what he's shown is that he can play in midfield or he can play at either of the advanced roles, whether it's the left forward or the right forward position as well. I think he's one of the players that can actually drive with the ball. I haven't really seen much players from our midfield that's been able to do that, apart from Coutinho, and as you said about Keita in certain games as well. So I do really like that. If he does move on as an individual, he'll obviously move on with my blessing. And if we do, I'm almost confident that whatever we purchase him for, that we'll make a profit on that as well. So I don't wish anything bad from him. He seems like he's a model pro, a stand-up person as well. But as you said, if he can give us a certain amount of percentage for this season, and he moves on, then I just wish him all of the best.
Fantastic. Charles Williams again. I don't think negative press Oblak was justified as his young lad, new country, etc. Coming into a team not in form. Absolutely agree. Couldn't have said anything more or different. Big up to Solo 7. Thank you for your support. Zacchaeus Forbes again. Any news on Gigi? Is he staying or is he going? I think my gut is he's going at the end of the season. I don't think they can agree a deal. I was reading today that Barcelona are at 80% there with a contract offer, which would surprise me because they're in financial problems. So I'm not sure how they can afford him. I think he's more likely to end up in Italy. But I think his heart is to stay. I think he wants to stay. But, I don't know. What are your thoughts? Do you think he's staying or do you think he's going, Patto?
I think he's going to stay.
You think he's going to stay? Okay.
He's going to stay because did you see the interview the other day that he did with Megan? And I thought I could see that he was staying. I don't know about you, but I was getting that. They always got to watch what they say, haven't they? You can't always say the truth.
Yeah, I got the vibe that he wants to stay, but I'm unsure as to whether they'd be able to come to an accommodation on the contract. Because from my understanding, he wants 4 years, and we're only offering 3. And we're offering 150k, where he wants maybe slightly more. So I'm not sure. I'd love it. I'd love him to stay.
Want him to stay as well, don't
we? We do want him to stay. He's been an excellent servant to the club.
Yeah.
He's been selfless in terms of how he sacrificed himself.
For him to go, does it? We can't think of it. He wants to stay. Jürgen wants him to stay. The club want him to stay, and the fans want him to stay. So why is he going anyway?
I think it's one of those things, as you said, is in football sometimes it's probably to do with the projects as well. So maybe with him, obviously with Koeman, the coach now at the Netherlands, and with Gigi obviously being the vice captain for the Dutch team as well. I mean, what he's been able to do since us purchasing from Newcastle, I think has been amazing. Think of he played at more an advanced role at Newcastle as well, and I think what he's actually shown is his professionalism, his knowledge, his skill, the way that he's been able to adapt and play in various roles for us, in midfield for us. I think he's been an exceptional servant for us as well. I think there's been previous, comments from the media when they've interviewed Klopp about the same question, whether they think he's going to stay there or not. And I think Klopp's been quite respectful and obviously saying that GG and his team, they're pushing for the right deal, which is understandable because at his age, this is probably the final big project that he's probably going to have in terms of a contract. So for the club and for the individual, he wants to obviously make sure that's right for him and his family. Do I want him to go? The answer is no. Do I believe he's going to stay? I still believe that is 50-50. But as you said, if he does move on, I don't think anybody can question how well he's actually performed at Liverpool. I think he's been exceptional as well. And if he does move on, we can obviously see without Henderson and Milner and Van Dijk not being there, he's obviously been wearing the captain's armband as well, and that within itself shows how much respect the club obviously has for him. So we'll watch this space, but as you said, I'm unsure. I still think.
I know his kids are built into school in September, so
Okay.
they are.
See, our inside correspondence there.
Exactly.
Some inside track. But so just what I was going to say is, he has been selfless for us. I think for the Dutch national team, he's played a more advanced role and been able to express himself a little bit more, where he's had to stay quite disciplined for us. Just to say, Koeman's at Barcelona, not at the Dutch team. He's managing Barcelona right now.
What did I say?
You said
did I say he's at Barca?
Yeah.
What I was meant to say is that he's at Barcelona.
He's at Barca. Yeah.
I
just don't think they can afford him, so I don't know if he goes there because they won't give him the money that he may be looking for. And look, it's a difficult position because I understand from everyone's perspective. I understand from Ginny, as you said, it's his last major contract. Wants to make sure he gets the best deal that he can for the length of contract that he feels he deserves, which I get it. But from the club's perspective, you've got a player who's the wrong side of 30, wants to be on a 4-year deal, asking for quite a bit of money, which might be freed up to sign a younger central midfielder.
True.
It's they got to make these commercial decisions because we don't want to end up like Arsenal, where we've got old players on big wages that don't want to go anywhere. Do you know what I mean? So it's a fine balance. It's a fine balance, but I see it from all sides.
Yeah, but we've still got Milner, our old Milner.
Well, this is the point. But
no one's mentioned, you're selling Milner.
But that supports my point.
When did he sign his last contract?
But I'm just saying, Patto, that supports.
I know how old was he when we signed the contract?
When he was like 33 years old on a free. We didn't sign Wijnaldum on a free.
Yeah.
We paid money for him, and we offered him 70k plus. Remember, we signed him from the Championship as well.
Yeah.
Newcastle.
He's at Newcastle.
For a player coming from the Championship, 70k is a lot of money. Do you know what I mean? What should have happened, in my mind, is...
I'm not saying that we still kept him. I'm saying, the money issue. I'm just saying we're quite happy, though, to keep someone of that age.
We are, but Patto...
keep Gini Wijnaldum for another 4 years, I think.
Yes. Yeah, and I see your point, but I want you to consider the fact that we've got Henderson over the 30 age. We've got Milner over the age of 30. Now, Ginny over the age of 30. We've got quite an age in midfield there.
Thiago pushing it near there as well.
Thiago's pushing 30 as well. So are we going to keep 4 30-year-olds on long-term contracts with big money? I don't see that happening. At least 2 of them are going to have to go. I think Milner's going to be offered a coaching or coaching role, or be allowed to go to Leeds, one of the two. Yeah, and I think that's why we're not breaking our backs to keep Ginny. If he takes the wages that he's been offered and signs, I think we're happy for that to happen. But I don't think we're going to break the bank to keep him, because we got old midfielders and we need to transition. And that's part of the reason Klopp signed a new deal, was to start the transition for the new age of players coming in. And 30 that's a big age for a midfielder. So as much as I love Genie to stay, and I get his contract position, I also understand the position the club's in, and they got to make the right decision, you know. So
always need experience as well, don't you? There has to be a mix. We still
absolutely
need back experience either in the midfield or in the defence.
I think you need it in the midfield as well, but I think when you've got Thiago and Henderson in there, you don't need 4 wise heads. You probably need 2 or 3 around the changing room. We had Lallana and we let him go because of his age and injuries. Do you know what I mean? And there comes a time where you have to kind of bring in someone. And remember, Naby Keita would have been there 2 seasons. Who else have we got in midfield? Like Curtis Jones is coming through. We're starting to get, you know, some new blood with experience in that midfield as well. So yeah, right. Let's fire through some questions, because we're getting on now, and it's quite late. So I've got Charles Williams. We're in the quarterfinals. We've got an excellent chance. Any other English club still in it? More of a chance than any other English club. Yeah, it's fair to say. Fair to say. Exactly. Charles Williams again. Our lads have done us proud. Of course they have. Of course they have. Charles Williams again. I don't think Warner's a bad player. I think Warner's is depressed. He really wants to be at Anfield. Yeah, well, that ship sailed, mate. Ship sailed. Also, with our injuries, etc., probably thinking to himself he would have been better with us. Yeah, possibly, maybe. We'll see. I don't think we're ever seriously in for Manor due to his demands when we made initial inquiries with his agent. Yeah, hard to know. Hard to know. We also used that young kiddie as part of the Jota deal. Yes, Hoover.
Yeah.
Yeah, Hoover was part of the deal. Yes, we did. Yes, we did. And final comment, is Jota now first choice ahead of Roberto Colgate for Firmino? It could only be Sam Spurs with that sort of comment. It's a squad game, mate. It's a squad game. You know, there's plenty of space for Roberto and his teeth in our front lineup. Don't you worry. Bobby Dazzler. What are your thoughts? Is Jota first choice ahead of Roberto? Do you think that?
Bit early to say. Yeah. As I said, I was pleased with how he was tonight, but when Bobby's on fire, he's on fire, isn't he? Okay, he's had a little lull at the minute, but that's to be expected.
Yeah.
So no, I can't. I wouldn't say so. No.
What about yourself, Stoney? Think he's ahead of?
I think for me, thank you, Sam Spence, for like this really good question as well. I think for me is our strength comes from our squad. So the fact that we've got a lot of players with strength and quality and experience, I think we're just good in that position. I think we've had such an indifferent season with injuries. The fact that we've now got Jota back and we've also in a position to field Firmino at different times means that we're in a position of strength. So I personally won't be making a contrast between who's better or who's first or second. I'm just grateful that they're both there and they add both quality to the way in which we play. That's my answer. I'm not sitting on the fence, but that's my response to it. I'm just grateful that we've got both players.
Nah, you are sitting on the fence, bro. Listen, for me, I think from what Klopp looks like, I think Firmino's his first. He picks him every single time. I think that Jota is part of the squad and will be used to give Mane, Salah, Firmino, any of them a rest at the necessary moment. Because remember, these boys play game after game after game. And if we're going in and we're going after a game, we're chasing a result, I see him playing all 4 of them, which he has done this season.
Yeah.
So, you know what I mean? So I don't see it as one ahead of the other. I just see it as, he's part of that squad and will be used as necessary. So, Anyway, on that note, final thoughts as we go around quickly. what are your final thoughts, Stoney, on what we've seen tonight, and how you feeling going into this little mini break that we've got now?
Well, I think I'm grateful that we've got to this stage. We were still in a position of two competitions. Yes, I understand that Man City are currently on 71 points. I get that. So I'm grateful that we're still in two competitions as the Premier League and the Champions League. We won our last Champions League game, so we're feeling blessed, and we've won our last Premiership game, so I feel blessed. So all it will be, let our players recuperate, let them be with their families, let them have good health, and then we recharge our batteries and we come back strong and ready for Arsenal on the 4th of April. So I'm happy.
Fantastic. Patto, any last words?
Yeah, similar to what Stoney's just said. Yeah, it's going to be a lovely rest because it's, over 2 weeks. And again, Easter. So a lot of us celebrate Easter. So hopefully, as Stoney said, to get some quality time with their families. Easter's a time of rebirth. Rising from the dead.
Yeah, rising again.
Rising again from the dead. And that's what we do in Liverpool. So
I like that. I like that biblical references
Arsenal
there.
as well. For Arsenal as well.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a nice little rest. I'm really looking forward to the 4th of April. I really am.
Fantastic.
And would even have maybe another player coming back at that time.
Maybe.
Never know.
Maybe. We'll see.
It's just under 3 weeks, isn't it? Arsenal.
Yeah, and they said Henderson was 4 weeks out from coming back from injury. So he may just be back in time for that game, and that will be a big boost. That will be a big boost.
Yeah.
So
Fingers crossed.
yeah.
And happy Easter to everybody.
Yeah. So, just wrapping things up, it's been a maelstrom of misery for us. We've come through the wilderness. We've been tested through the desert, tempted by the devil, all of it. We've been crucified, we've been buried, and we'll be coming back after this break. We've ended on a good note. Right now, the tomb is empty and everyone's wondering where we are. And when we come back after Easter, we'll find out if we really have been resurrected. On that note, I've been Stitches, she's been Patto, he's been Stoney, and you've been the best. Thank you, everyone, and we hope to see you on the other side shortly. And don't forget, like, subscribe, share, and hit that bell. Thank you very much.